It was the year 1452 when a notary in the little town of Vinci wrote, "A grandson of mine was born, son of Ser Piero, my son, on April 15th, Saturday at 3 o'clock in the night. His name was Leonardo." Leonardo da Vinci would go on to become one of history's great artists. It is Leonardo's genius as an inventor, however, that made him the model of a Renaissance man. Leonardo's thirst for knowledge of all kinds is preserved in thousands of pages of notes, often penned in mirror writing. Leonardo's notebooks are a fascinating tribute to one of the most original thinkers of all time. Future Vision Multimedia presents Leonardo the Inventor, a multimedia exploration of the astonishing legacy of Leonardo da Vinci. Your journey into Leonardo's world begins here. Choose Inventions to see Leonardo's prophetic designs. Biography brings you the fascinating story of the life of Leonardo. Choose Timeline to follow the development of Leonardo's genius. Click on Works to discover where Leonardo's artworks and notebooks are found today. The bibliography will guide you to sources for further study of Leonardo the Inventor. 3 exciting games challenge your wits and your reflexes. Click Index to quickly access any part of the CD. Online help is available to answer your questions about Leonardo the Inventor. Leonardo's innovations in the fields of flight, water, music, civil engineering, and warfare stand as testimony to the incredible range of his creative intellect. Choose a button to learn more about Leonardo's inventions. Leonardo's ideas for man-powered flight were based on painstaking studies of bird anatomy. While none of his flying machines ever got off the ground, Leonardo's designs were astonishingly prophetic. Choose a button to learn about one of Leonardo's flight inventions. Leonardo devoted many drawings to the nature of flight. He studied birds' wings, searching for the secret that would lead to the fulfillment of his dream, a man-powered flying machine. This model brings together some of Leonardo's ideas for man-powered flight. If it were actually built, the wood, metal, and rope of this pedal-powered wing would weigh over 600 pounds, far too heavy for flight.
A bird is an instrument working according to a mathematical law. It lies within the power of man to make this instrument with all its motions, but without the full scope of its powers. But this limitation only applies with respect to balancing itself. Accordingly, we may say that such an instrument fabricated by man lacks nothing but the soul of man.
Leonardo never actually flew, but he was in good company. In 1979, human-powered flight was finally achieved. The Gossamer Albatross, made of cardboard, plastic sheeting, aluminum tubes, and piano wire, was flown across the English Channel, fulfilling Leonardo's greatest dream. Put on your wings for the flight that Leonardo could only dream about. Steer clear of the obstacles as you soar high above Leonardo's world. Although he never figured out how to get his flying machines off the ground, Leonardo wasn't one to let details stand in his way. Here we see his design for landing gear. Leonardo described the hooks at the base of the ladders as toes that would keep the machine stable when it hit the ground.
When it is off the ground, pull the ladders up as shown in the figure. This is how you should take off from a plane. The ladders serve as legs.
Today's landing gear must support the tremendous weight of a jumbo jet. Leonardo made this sketch 300 years before the first successful parachute jump in 1797.
If a man has a tent made of clogged cloth, each side of which is 12 arm lengths wide and which is 12 tall, then he can jump from any great altitude without hurting himself.
The modern parachute barely needed to improve on Leonardo's design. This famous drawing shows a vertical screw of starched linen stretched onto a metal frame. Designed to rotate rapidly, some consider this invention to foreshadow the modern helicopter.
I think if this screw instrument is well made, from linen starched to block its pores, and is turned rapidly, then said screw will climb upwards.
Helicopters use propellers rather than the screw proposed by Leonardo to power their flight. Still, it looks like Leonardo was on the right track. Leonardo studied the motion of water and developed many designs to harness its power. Along with his practical inventions, however, Leonardo's notebooks reveal the heart of an explorer. His sketches suggest methods for roaming the sea, both on the surface and under it. Leonardo dreamed of exploring the world under the water's surface. This device reminds us of the modern snorkel. A buoy floated on the water's surface. Inside the buoy were two pipes through which the masked diver breathed in and out.
Water struck by water forms circles around the point of impact. The voice in the air creates the same along a greater distance. Fire goes still farther, and still farther the mind in the universe. But since the universe is finite, the mind does not reach infinity.
The modern snorkel gives swimmers more mobility than Leonardo envisioned. Many of Leonardo's inventions made use of water wheels. His designs included mills for grinding grain and for manufacturing silk and gunpowder. In another sketch, Leonardo designed this paddle-powered boat. The use of paddle wheels makes this boat both powerful and efficient. Because the rower faces forward, it would also be particularly easy to maneuver.
The water displaced by a ship has a weight equal to that of the ship.
In 1807, the first commercially successful steamboat was launched on New York's Hudson River. Its inventor, Robert Fulton, made use of the water wheel technology explored by Leonardo. Leonardo sketched this deep-sea diving outfit 200 years before the first working suits appeared in England. Improved versions of this helmeted suit are still in use today.
Describe underwater swimming, and you will have described the flight of birds.
Modern scuba gear realized Leonardo's dream of underwater exploration. A ship has gone down at sea, and with it, a fabulous treasure. Your job is to recover the treasure before the diver runs out of air. Watch out for sharks and jellyfish. Unlike modern life preservers made of plastic or styrofoam, Leonardo's life belt was probably a leather tube filled with air, but otherwise his 15th century design looks exactly like what we use today.
The waters destroy the mountains, fill the valleys, and would reduce the world to perfect sphericalness if they could.
Today's life preserver is almost identical to Leonardo's design. Here we see a device that allows you to walk along the surface of the water, at least in theory. Wide pontoon floats are attached to the feet. The vertical poles serve as paddles to push the walker forward over the water. There was only one problem with this design. Only a very strong person could stay balanced for long.
Observe how the movement of the surface of the water resembles that of hair, which has two movements, one of which stems from the weight of the hair and the other from its waves and curls. In the same way, water has its turbulent curls, a part of which follows the force of the main current, the other obeying the movement of incidence and reflection.
Leonardo's idea for walking on water reminds us of some of today's sports. Leonardo was famous as a performer and a teacher of music. He gave music the highest place among the arts after painting, calling it the shaping of the invisible. Choose a button to learn more about Leonardo's musical inventions. Just as he explored the limits of sea and air travel, Leonardo explored music from a scientist's perspective. Here we see how he expanded the musical possibilities of drums by systematically altering the conventional designs of his day. Leonardo, an expert in mechanics, explored ways of mechanizing drums. This crank causes the hammers to strike the drum in an even rhythm.
This rebus uses musical notes to create a word game. In Italian, the rebus can be deciphered to read Amore sol la mi fa remirare, la sol mi fa sollecita, which means love only makes me remember, it alone makes me alert.
Leonardo's mechanized drum is nothing less than the Renaissance equivalent of a drum machine.
Welcome to the LDV 2000 Rhythm Machine.
This is Leonardo's idea for a new kind of kettle drum. The crank tightens the head of the drum, changing the pitch. Click the arrows to rotate the crank, then click on the head of the drum to hear the sound. In Leonardo's day, wind instruments could only be as long as the span of the human hand. This limited the sound that could be produced to relatively high notes. Leonardo designed a set of keys attached by wires to pads which would close the holes of a wind instrument. This system allowed the player to expand his reach and to play lower notes.
These two flutes do not change their tone by leaps as most wind instruments do, but in the manner of the human voice. And one does it by moving the hand up and down just as with the coiled trumpet, and more so in the pipe A. And you can obtain 1/8 or 16th of the tone and just as much as you want.
Woodwind keys like the ones suggested by Leonardo make this kind of music possible. Click on a key to play Leonardo's flute. Leonardo's papers show an invention which would combine a keyboard's ability to play several notes at once with the expressive tone of a bowed string instrument. An endless horsehair bow rotates on a crank-powered belt drive. When the player pushes a button, a mechanism draws the strings against the rotating bow, producing music. The viola organista, as Leonardo called it, is the meeting point between Leonardo's love of music and his mechanical genius.
The bow will move according to the motion of the right arm from key to key, and in this way it will diminish together with the notes.
The modern synthesizer uses a piano keyboard to produce the sound of strings and just about anything else. Click the buttons on the side of the viola organista to hear the sound. Leonardo saw how friction caused by swinging bells wore away the axles that supported them. His solution, a bell support system equipped with anti-friction bearings. This system used 3 roller bearings to offset the weight and force of the moving bell. 200 years later, this design, original to Leonardo, is referred to as the oldest and most common system for hanging bells. Leonardo devoted much effort to music. Above all, he determined to study playing the lira, since by nature he possessed a lofty and graceful mind. He sang divinely, improvising his own accompaniment on the lira. The ancient art of bell ringing lives on today. These huge bells require support systems like the one designed by Leonardo. Although he is best remembered as an artist, Leonardo made his living mainly as a civil engineer. He had revolutionary ideas for the design of bridges and defensive fortifications. Choose a button to explore one of Leonardo's civil engineering inventions. With this bridge canal, Leonardo designed a water overpass. Like a modern highway interchange, this design allows maritime traffic to flow in different directions. The first gate on the bridge acts as a temporary dam. By impeding the flow of water entering through small openings in the second gate, it raises the water level, allowing the ship to float up onto the bridge canal.
In time of peace, I believe I can give perfect satisfaction and to the equal of any other in guiding water from one place to the other.
Artificial canals, like the one Leonardo designed, are an important part of commercial navigation. Leonardo invented this retractable bridge for military use. This drawbridge is lowered by a hinge attached to one bank of the river. A system of counterweights helps to balance the bridge as it is lowered.
I have a kind of extremely light and strong bridge adapted to be most easily carried, and with it you may pursue and at any time flee from the enemy.
Unlike Leonardo's military design, this modern drawbridge regulates commercial traffic. Leonardo considered himself an expert in guiding water from one place to another. This dredger was designed to maintain and clean canals. As the wheel turns, ropes tighten around the central axle. The ropes draw the dredger forward. The height of the axle is adjustable. By lowering the axle, the dredging scoops reach further into the riverbed.
I have means by secret and tortuous mines and ways, made without noise, to reach a designated spot, even if it were needed to pass under a trench or a river.
Modern dredging equipment is used to maintain areas used in offshore industry. The introduction of gunpowder to the battlefield made it necessary to rethink the entire science of defensive architecture. Leonardo rose to the challenge with his radical new fortress design. The circular layout creates a series of moats which can be filled with water in case of enemy attack. The low, rounded walls deflect enemy fire. Leonardo made sure that the commander of this fortress could defend himself if betrayed. The central tower could be isolated from the rest of the fortress, allowing the commander to escape through an underground tunnel.
The lord of the manor must be able to go through the entire fortress using tunnels and underground passages, which shall be disposed in such way that none of them could be used to reach the dwelling of the Lord without his agreement. And he must be able to imprison in their residence all those of his retinue who may plot against him.
The United States Pentagon is built in a series of concentric hallways, just like Leonardo's fortress. In Renaissance Italy, city-states were constantly at war with one another. In this atmosphere, there was always a market for Leonardo's machines of warfare. Choose a button to learn more about one of Leonardo's military inventions. This ingenious weapon had 11 cannons across the top which could be fired simultaneously, but it also had something extra. While one bank of cannons is firing, the next is loaded. In the meantime, the third bank is allowed to cool off.
It is the most deadly machine that exists. And when the cannonball falls, the nucleus sets fire to the other balls, and the central ball explodes and shatters the others, which catch fire in the time it takes to say a Hail Mary.
Leonardo's musket was an early form of mounted artillery. During the Renaissance, soldiers battled on horseback. What a commotion Leonardo would have caused with his armored car. According to Leonardo's notes, this tank would require 8 soldiers to operate. Some would keep a lookout through the portholes at the top of the tank. Others would operate the cannons. Still others would operate the wheels. Leonardo correctly foresaw a method of warfare that wouldn't exist until the 20th century.
I will make covered vehicles safe and unassailable, which will penetrate the enemy and their artillery, and there is no host of armed men so great that they would not be broken by them. And behind these, the infantry will be able to follow quite uninjured and unimpeded. Such vehicles take the place of elephants.
The modern tank works on the same principle as Leonardo's armored car. Leonardo improved on ancient techniques for storming fortresses. His sketches include many ladders which could be carried easily to the foot of a fortress wall. Leonardo also developed techniques for defending fortresses against the very ladders he designed.
Here, the observation windows of one triangular embankment overlook and protect the sides of the other embankment, and so do reciprocally all the others. And here, no scaling ladders can be planted.
This fire truck shows how ladder technology has developed since Leonardo's day. The crossbow was a common weapon in the 15th century. Leonardo transformed it into a powerful automatic weapon. The giant treadmill is powered by a group of soldiers. The wooden plank at the left shields them from enemy fire. A single archer is suspended in the middle of the treadmill. All he has to do is wait for a crossbow to reach him, aim, and fire.
It appears clear that if you place over the head of the lever 20 men weighing 4,000 pounds, they will exert against the counter lever a force of 120,000 pounds, enough to charge the 4 crossbows.
The modern machine gun, like Leonardo's automatic crossbow, was designed to increase the rate of fire.